Ocho Joe, Kevin Stefanski says Shedeur Sanders is not getting any first-team reps like Dillon Gabriel, like Dillon Gabriel did when Joe Flacco was the starter. Stefanski said it's because Gabriel being young, you want to make sure he's getting a lot of reps. It's different when you have a vet like Joe.
Some number one reps. Is that true with Shedeur?
No. I mean, with a young quarterback with Dillon starting, you want to make sure he gets a lot of the reps. Different when you have a veteran like Joe, I would tell you, Tony.
The tension in Cleveland just hit a whole new level when Kevin Stefanski decided that Shedeur Sanders wouldn't get a single first-team rep. The room exploded. It wasn't some small disagreement or casual football talk. It was a flat-out disbelief moment. Because for these guys, that decision isn't just bad coaching, it's a signal, a warning that Shedeur's development might be deliberately slowed down.
Hell nah, you know that ain't normal protocol. You should be doing the same exact thing you were doing with Joe Flacco and Dillon Gabriel. Now, if Dillon Gabriel is starting, you should be doing the same thing you were doing with Dillon Gabriel and Joe Flacco with goddamn Shedeur. It's a bunch of trash, and all that is telling me is that Shedeur is not closer to getting the starting job until Dillon Gabriel shows that he just can't get the job done. And that's why I say they're probably maybe towards the end of the season, maybe last 3 weeks. Dillon Gabriel, at some point, teams are going to force him. You're going to have to beat us with your arm.
They couldn't believe it. You know when they start sounding fed up, something's seriously wrong inside that locker room.
You know, I'm not objective about this, but this was hitting bottom yesterday. This is all-time shameful on the part of Kevin Stefanski. This was Kevin Stefanski pretty much declaring public war on Shedeur, or at least Cold War on Shedeur, because he won't even speak Shedeur's name in these interview sessions. And this is degenerated into, every time he's asked about Shedeur, he just plays dodgeball and with a bunch of non-answers. And this is Kevin Stefanski showing you once and for all, I didn't want to draft him. I don't like his presence on social media. And above all, if you want to know the truth about Kevin Stefanski,
because this isn't just about one practice rotation or a single game plan. This is about the future of a young quarterback being shaped or possibly wasted right before our eyes. Ocho reads out what Stefanski said. Shedeur Sanders isn't getting any first-team reps like Dillon Gabriel did when Joe Flacco was the starter. Stefanski claims it's because Gabriel is young and they want to give him more work, while veterans like Flacco don't need as many snaps. The second those words hit the table, Unc cuts in. Hell no, he says. You know that ain't normal protocol. The energy shifts instantly. He's been in those locker rooms. He's seen how quarterbacks are developed. And what he says next is brutal honesty. You should be doing the same thing you did with Joe Flacco and Dillon Gabriel with Shedeur. That's when the rant really starts. They say this is pure nonsense. It's not about reps, it's about respect. They see it as a clear message Shedeur isn't close to being given a real shot. He's waiting for Dillon Gabriel to fail before anyone even considers giving him the keys.
Hell nah, you know that ain't normal protocol. You should be doing the same exact thing you were doing with Joe Flacco and Dillon Gabriel. Now, if Dillon Gabriel is starting, you should be doing the same thing you were doing with Dillon Gabriel and Joe Flacco with goddamn Shedeur. It's a bunch of trash, and all that is telling me is that Shedeur is not closer to getting the starting job until Dillon Gabriel shows that he just can't get the job done. And that's why I say they're probably maybe towards the end of the season, maybe last 3 weeks. Dillon Gabriel, at some point, teams are going to force him. You're going to have to beat us with your arm.
And that's what made them furious. Because in the NFL, waiting can kill a player's momentum before it even begins. Before we go deeper, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We break down every story behind the headlines, every move the coaches don't want you to see. Your support keeps this going, and trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. He brings up something every player knows, the rhythm of practice. He says, normally, we'd have 10 plays per period. Offense gets 10, defense gets 10. Then you go again, another 10, and another 10. So out of all those reps, you're telling me Shedeur can't get one, not even a single snap? That's where both of them lose it. Because even 1 or 2 plays, just one handoff or a short pass, makes a difference.
We're not going to allow QJ to run up and down the field. They're going to play. They're going to stack 9 in the box. You're going to have to prove that you can beat us with your arm. That's it.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I think, look, everywhere I've been, even when we had veteran quarterbacks or whatever, he get 1 or 2 reps. I know. Obviously, if you normally, I don't know how it was, but we had 10 plays. We ran 10 plays per period. Offense got 10, defense got 10.
Right.
Offense got 10, defense got 10. Okay, special teams, do what they do, whether it was punt return, kick return, whatever the case may be. And then guess what, Ocho? Another 10, another 10, another 10, number 10, so forth and so on. But you mean to tell me Shedeur can't get 1 rep, 2 reps with the starters?
I mean,
out of 10 reps, he can't get 1.
It's about familiarity, getting used to the timing, the cadence, the chemistry with the starting offensive line and receivers. You can't replicate that with backups. No matter how talented a quarterback is, if he hasn't worked with the starting unit, his first real game will feel like chaos. Ocho calls it out. You mean to tell me Shedeur can't get 1 rep, 2 reps with the starters? And that's exactly what fans have been wondering, because this isn't just any rookie QB, this is Shedeur Sanders, a quarterback with NFL bloodlines, discipline, and proven leadership from college, the kind of guy who's supposed to be prepared for the big stage. But how can he be ready if he never steps on the same field as the first-team offense? The conversation takes a deeper turn when Unc points out that this decision gives Dillon Gabriel unnecessary comfort. If he's getting all the reps, that sends a message. His job is safe. No competition, no fire. And in the NFL, comfort kills performance. Every quarterback performs better when there's someone right behind them pushing hard, ready to take their spot. That pressure brings out the best. But if you remove that, you let complacency creep in. Because Stefanski's logic of protecting the young QB by overloading him with reps might actually backfire. It's not just about giving Gabriel time to grow, it's about building a team that's prepared for anything. And as Unc says, this is the NFL, bro. You're 1 play away. 1 injury, 1 bad hit, and suddenly Shedeur's in the game, without a single rep with the starters. That's not preparation, that's a disaster waiting to happen. Then the discussion moves towards something every veteran knows: game speed. Ocho breaks it down perfectly. He says the NFL isn't just faster than college or practice, it's warp speed.
What would that do, Unc? That would be wasting time. Getting 1 or 2 reps with the starter is wasting time. And obviously, on Stefanski's side, also, it can give Dillon Gabriel some type of what's the word I'm looking for? Some type of security. Okay, my job is not in jeopardy. I'm not playing as well as I think I should be playing. So I'm getting all the reps to make sure that those reps actually count in practice. And once I get into the games, I'm familiar with those situations.
When you're on the sideline watching, it looks manageable. But the second you step in, you realize how quick those defenses move, how sharp every read needs to be, and how fast decisions must happen. So when a young QB like Shedeur hasn't taken reps with the top receivers or the first-team offensive line, the first time he faces that real game tempo, it's like being dropped into a storm. That's what Unc means when he says you never know when you're going to need Shedeur. Because when that moment comes, and it always comes, the difference between a prepared backup and a forgotten one could be the game, the season, or even his career. Behind all the shouting and passion, there's a serious football message here. Unc and Ocho aren't mad for entertainment. They're exposing how coaching politics can quietly define a quarterback's career path. Giving a young QB 0 reps isn't about saving time. It's a decision that says, we don't believe you're ready. But how does a player ever become ready if he's never allowed to take that step? This is where veteran players like Unc have a unique perspective. He's seen countless young talents fade away, not because they lacked skill, but because coaches didn't invest the right way. Reps are opportunity. They're trust in motion. Without them, no player can truly prove themselves. And that's exactly what's frustrating here. Shedeur doesn't need favoritism. He doesn't need the offense built around him. He just needs a fair shot to practice with the people he might one day lead. Look around the league. When teams draft a quarterback they believe in, they give him situational reps immediately. Look at Jordan Love's first couple of years under Rodgers. He still got first-team looks in certain drills. Look at Brock Purdy. Even as a last-round pick, San Francisco made sure he was ready when the time came. That's the difference between good coaching and blind loyalty to one guy. Stefanski might think he's protecting Gabriel's confidence, but in reality, he's holding back the team's growth. Because what happens when Gabriel struggles and Shedeur is suddenly thrown into the fire? If that moment comes and Shedeur hasn't had a single rep with Amari Cooper or the first-team offensive line, the Browns won't just lose a game, they'll lose months of preparation. And that's what Unc and Ocho are screaming about. They've lived through it. They know what happens when a backup quarterback is called up unprepared. It's not fair to the player, and it's not fair to the team. Unc makes another point. Having a veteran QB like Flacco doesn't mean the rest of the roster should stop developing. Veterans are there to mentor, not to monopolize reps. The best coaches rotate snaps intelligently. They make sure the team stays ready from top to bottom. But Stefanski's logic that Shedeur doesn't need reps because Gabriel needs them more goes against the entire idea of team balance. It's not a youth experiment, it's the NFL. Every position is one play away from a change. Ocho says it best. Even if it's just a handoff, let Shedeur see the first-team O-line. Let him feel the timing. Let him get that rhythm. That's not just common sense, that's football IQ. This conversation hits deeper than people realize. Shedeur Sanders isn't just any young QB. He's coming in with expectations, with his father's legacy, and with the spotlight already burning hot. So every snap he takes, every rep he gets or doesn't get will shape how the league views him. So when the Browns decide to keep him out of first-team reps, it's not just about practice time. It's about perception. It tells everyone, teammates, media, fans, that he's not even close to being competing for that role yet. And that's dangerous. Because once that narrative starts, it's hard to change. That's how talented players get boxed in, labeled as projects, when all they need is the chance to show what they can do. Unc and Ocho are fighting that narrative. They're calling it out before it's too late. They know the difference between a quarterback being developed and one being quietly sidelined. Their message to Stefanski is loud and clear. Stop overthinking it. Let the kid play. Give him a few snaps in practice, let him work with the starters, build confidence, and keep him ready. Because when that one play happens, when Gabriel gets hurt or struggles, you'll wish Shedeur had those reps. And the worst part, you'll have no one to blame but the coaching staff. The NFL moves too fast for hesitation. In a league where rookies are expected to adapt immediately, sitting your young QB behind imaginary walls doesn't help anyone. What's happening in Cleveland is part of a bigger pattern across the league. Coaches talk about development, but too often it turns into protection, protecting their choices, protecting their reputations, instead of building future starters. But the great franchises, Kansas City, San Francisco, Baltimore, they build depth through trust. Every player in the system knows they could be called up at any time. That's how you stay competitive through injuries and tough stretches. But Cleveland, on the other hand, feels like it's playing scared. Scared to let the young talent touch the field. Scared to stir up controversy between quarterbacks. Scared to make the bold call. But football doesn't reward fear. It rewards preparation and confidence. When you listen to Unc and Ocho go off, it's not just frustration, it's truth. They're saying what a lot of veterans wish they could say on record, that some coaches make decisions based on comfort, not competition. And that's what kills development. Shedeur Sanders deserves a chance to grow in real conditions, not just watching from the sidelines, not just running scout team plays, real reps with real teammates. That's how you build a future starter. And until Stefanski figures that out, Cleveland will keep spinning its wheels. Another season
of what ifs. Another year of excuses. Because in this league, you don't win by playing it safe. You win by preparing for what's coming next. And right now, what's coming next might be the moment Shedeur Sanders finally gets his shot, ready or not. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like and subscribe right now. We're bringing you raw, unfiltered takes the mainstream won't touch. No scripts, no spin. Just football the way it's meant to be discussed. Because when Unc and Ocho speak, they're not just talking, they're warning. And if Cleveland doesn't listen, they might regret it when Shedeur's chance finally comes.